Let's be real. In today's world, so much of our communication happens through our phones. Texting has become the new place for modern romance. It's where flirting takes place, attraction builds, and emotional chemistry either ignites or fades away completely. Still, many women feel uncertain about how to manage that balance between being playful and provocative. They often wonder, how do I keep things interesting, make him think about me, but still come across as classy, empowered, and in control? Here's the thing, most people don't fully grasp that sexual attraction doesn't start with the body, it starts with the mind. It begins with a look that lasts just a little longer than expected, a message that says just enough without saying too much, or a sentence that's not explicit but is still very suggestive. When it comes to texting, the mistake many women make is either going too safe so it feels like they're texting a coworker, or they jump right into sending something that feels disconnected from who they are, trying to create chemistry through shock value or excessive innuendo. But here's the truth. You don't need to be vulgar to be irresistible. You don't need to send pictures you're not comfortable with, and you certainly don't need to pretend to be someone you're not just to get his attention. The most seductive messages are the ones that stir his imagination. They make him curious. They make him feel as though you're already touching him with your words. And best of all, they make him see you as a woman who owns her sensuality, not someone trying to seek his validation. Because a confident woman doesn't say, please like me. She says, let me show you a side of me if you can handle it. And that's where the true power lies. So, if you've ever found yourself wondering what to text a man to make his heart race, if you've ever wanted to know how to add the right amount of spice to your conversations without losing your elegance, this is for you. I'm about to share with you 5 playful, cheeky, and extremely effective texts you can send to any man. These texts won't scream desperation or come off as over the top, but will whisper, you won't stop thinking about me tonight. Because once you learn how to seduce through suggestion, when you understand how to use your energy, not just your words, you'll become unforgettable. Ready to discover them? Let's dive in. I just had the naughtiest thought about you. At first glance, it may seem simple, but don't let its simplicity fool you. This one line is packed with seductive power. Why? Because it doesn't reveal everything. It whispers instead of shouting. It taps into a man's imagination in a way that makes him immediately alert, intrigued, and deeply curious about you. Many people think seduction is about what you reveal, but real seduction is about what you withhold. When you send this text, you're not handing him the entire fantasy. You're giving him a hint of it. You're planting a seed. What did she think about? And that thought will replay in his mind for hours. Let's be honest, men love a mental puzzle, especially when the reward at the end feels intimate, sexy, and just out of reach. This text creates a gap in his imagination, and the human brain hates an unfinished story. That's why cliffhangers in movies work so well. We need to know what happens next. When you send this text, you've become the cliffhanger, the plot twist he can't stop thinking about. But what truly makes this message so powerful is that it puts you in control of the desire. You're not asking, do you want me? You're stating, I want you in a way you didn't even expect. That small shift where you become the one experiencing a private moment of desire completely changes the energy. You're the fantasy. You're the one who's mysterious, sensual, and fully aware of what you want. And trust me, men find that irresistible. And here's another layer that most people overlook. This text invites him to play without pushing him. You're not directing the conversation to a graphic place. You're not cornering him. You're simply offering up a piece of alluring information, like a ribbon hanging from a gift he hasn't opened yet. If he's interested, he'll grab it. He'll ask, "What was it?" or "Now you have to tell me." And just like that, you've opened the door to flirtation, desire, and even intimacy, all without compromising your values or crossing any lines you're not comfortable with. This type of message works because it balances confidence with curiosity. It makes him feel wanted without being blunt about what the thought was, and most importantly, it feels genuine. You can adapt it to your comfort level. The naughty thought could be playful, romantic, or something more sensual. It's up to you. And that's the beauty of it. You hold the power. At the end of the day, turning a man on isn't about using the most explicit language. It's about being the most captivating presence. When you spark his mind, his body will follow. So don't underestimate the power of what remains unsaid. Sometimes it's the silence between the words that speaks the loudest. If you were here right now, what do you think we'd be doing? This text is wonderfully open-ended, and that's precisely why it's so effective. It offers him a blank canvas, a subtle invitation to picture a world of desire, curiosity, or even intimacy, with you at the center. It's not just flirty, it's interactive. You've placed the power in his hands to bring his imagination into the conversation. And let me tell you something, when a man starts imagining you with him, even in a hypothetical sense, that fantasy is hard to shake. What makes this text even more powerful is that it sounds casual, but it immediately triggers the emotional and sensual parts of his brain. It doesn't come off as desperate or overtly sexual. There's nothing graphic about it. You're simply asking a question, but it's a question that opens the door to something much deeper. You're hinting that you've thought about him being with you. That alone carries weight. It makes him feel special. It makes him feel wanted. You could be texting about anything, your day, your to-do list, or that show you're watching. But instead, you've chosen to wonder about him and what the two of you could be doing if distance weren't an issue. This is powerful because men are visual creatures. When you ask this, you trigger a mental movie. He doesn't just hear your words. He pictures the moment you're inviting him into. Whether he imagines you sitting beside him on the couch, leaning in for a kiss, or teasing each other under the covers, the point is, now you live in his mind. And once you're there, it's tough to forget you. But let's not ignore another subtle psychological element here. This message isn't only about desire, it's about comfort. You're creating a space where he can be bold without fear of judgment. You're asking him to share his fantasy, knowing you'll still respect him afterward. That's rare, and men feel that. And maybe the most underrated part, it reveals his emotional state. If he's excited to play along, you learn a lot about where he stands emotionally and how connected he feels to you. If he's hesitant or avoids answering, that tells you something too. Either way, this message is a gentle but revealing test of your chemistry and connection. When you send "If you were here right now, what do you think we'd be doing?" you're doing more than just turning him on. You're creating a space for shared imagination, connection, and emotional intimacy. You're telling him, there's a space here that only you can fill. And trust me, when a man feels that, he won't be able to stop imagining how he would. "You have no idea what you do to me." There's something undeniably magnetic about this sentence. It's soft, it's vulnerable, and yet it's filled with sensual tension. This message doesn't shout, it hums like a whisper in the dark that sends a chill down his spine. It's the kind of text that makes a man stop what he's doing and just focus on you, because it doesn't just talk to him, it pulls him toward you. What makes this text so powerful is what it leaves unsaid. You're not spelling anything out. You're not telling him exactly what he does to you. You're leaving that to his imagination. And that's where the magic happens. Men love to feel that they have an effect on the woman they desire. Not just a surface level effect, but something deeper. They want to believe they've touched something real in you, something physical, emotional, even uncontrollable. When you send this text, you're confirming, there's something about you, and I can't even explain it, but it moves me. And in doing so, you trigger a powerful emotional response. He feels important. And let's go deeper. This text creates intimacy without expectation. You're revealing a raw, honest moment. It's not calculated. It's not performative. It feels spontaneous, personal, almost involuntary. It's the kind of thing someone says when they can't help it. And that's why it resonates so much. It doesn't feel like a strategy. It feels like a confession. And we all know confessions are irresistible when wrapped in sensual mystery. There are messages that demand a response, and then there are those that make someone feel. This is the second type. It doesn't just say, I'm attracted to you. It says, you change me. You have a power over me that even I didn't expect. That's a whole different level of seduction. What's also wonderful about this line is how versatile it is. It can be used in a playful moment, like after a flirty chat, or it can deepen a quiet evening when you've been missing him and reminiscing about your time together. It can be sexy, soft, or even loving, depending on the tone you bring to it. And here's a little secret. You can leave this message as it is, or follow it up with something even more subtle, like, it's not just one thing. It's the way you look at me, the sound of your voice, the way I feel when I imagine your hands on me. You don't need to be explicit, you just need to be real. Authenticity is the most seductive thing you can bring. So remember, this isn't about being provocative. It's about being present. Present with your desires, your emotions, your body, and your truth. When you send a text, you have no idea what you do to me. You're not just making him attracted, you're allowing him to step into your experience of him. And that kind of vulnerability is the kind that stays with him long after he's put his phone down. I dare you not to think about me tonight. This text is a playful little masterpiece of defiance. It's teasing, it's flirtatious, and it's filled with confidence and challenge, which, as you might have noticed, men absolutely love. You're not just flirting here, you're throwing down a challenge in the most seductive way possible. It's as though you're saying, go on, try not to crave me. Now, let's break down why this line is so irresistible. First of all, it immediately creates tension. But it's the fun kind. You're not begging for his attention. You're not even asking for it. What you're doing is predicting that he won't be able to help himself. And right there, you've stepped into a position of power. You've subtly told him, you're already thinking about me and I know it. This message is pure mental foreplay. It's based on suggestion rather than declaration. It doesn't shout, look at me. It smirks and then walks away. And that's exactly what makes it linger. Because when you say this, he immediately starts thinking about you. That's the irony. He's already imagining your smile, your touch, the last time he heard your laugh, or maybe the last time things got steamy between you. Whether he wants to or not, you're in his head. Mission accomplished. But here's where this message becomes even more interesting. It's playfully competitive. The word dare taps into his masculine instinct to rise to a challenge. And when that challenge is you, it becomes a game he both wants to win and secretly hopes to lose. That internal battle of, can I resist her versus, why would I even want to, is what makes this such a mentally engaging message. You've just turned your presence into both a challenge and a reward at the same time. And yet, for all its cheekiness, there's something deeply sensual underneath it. You're not asking for dirty talk. You're not pushing for anything. You're simply existing in his world with a touch of audacity and self-assurance. That balance between confidence and invitation is the essence of seductive communication. Also, Timing is key here. This text hits differently when sent at night. Send it when you know he's winding down. When the world is quieter and distractions are fading, that's when the imagination is at its most vivid, and you become the thought that slips under the door of his mind when everything else is still. He'll read it, he'll smile, and even if he doesn't reply right away, he'll feel a pull to you and a magnetic thread that tugs just a little tighter. The best part? You haven't revealed anything explicit. You've done it all with energy, tone, and confidence. You've made yourself the fantasy without ever describing it. So when you send, "I dare you not to think about me tonight," you're not just being naughty, you're being unforgettable. Because it's not about begging for attention. It's about becoming the kind of woman who naturally takes up space in his thoughts, even when he tries not to let her. Tell me your favorite part of my body. I want to know what drives you wild. This one is bold. It's sensual. And yet, when delivered with the right tone, it's not just sexy, it's a deep invitation into connection and vulnerability. Because it's not just about physicality. It's about what he sees in you, what he craves, what moves him. This text isn't graphic, it doesn't cross any lines, but it does open a very specific, emotionally charged door. You're not saying compliment me, you're saying reveal to me what captures your attention when I'm standing in front of you. Tell me what you notice when no one's watching. That kind of request strikes right at the core of desire. It's layered with curiosity, invitation, and trust. And men love to feel like they're the ones who get to unlock something personal in you. When you ask this question, you're not just saying, "Look at me." You're saying, "I trust you to tell me how I affect you." That instantly brings you closer, because desire shared is desire multiplied. It becomes a moment that's not just about you being desired. It's about you both sharing the same energy. Now let's look at the brilliance of this line. First, you're inviting him into intimacy. You're signaling that you want to hear what drives him wild, that you enjoy being his temptation, and that makes him feel not only turned on, but also chosen. It affirms something that men rarely get to express, what they feel when they're truly captivated by a woman. It might be the curve of your hips, the back of your neck, the way you arch your eyebrow when you're teasing, and whatever it is, it will be his answer. Unique, honest, personal. Second, you're maintaining your power. This message isn't about offering your body, it's about owning it. You're not fishing for compliments. You're saying, "I know I have this effect on you, and I want to explore it with you." That energy, that self-assured sensuality, it's magnetic. And don't underestimate the psychological effect this has on a man. When he thinks about your body, especially in the context of what part of you he wants most, he begins to associate those thoughts with real emotion. And those emotions deepen his desire, not just physically, but mentally. Because now, he's no longer just attracted to a woman. He's connected to you, the woman who had the confidence to invite him into that moment of truth. The beauty of this line is also in how you deliver it. You could send it after a flirty back and forth, or even during a quiet, emotionally open moment, because it works on more than one level. It's not just about lust. It's about insight. It's about how he experiences you. What part of you does he linger on when he thinks of you alone? What moment flashes through his mind when he closes his eyes? And once he answers, you can deepen the connection even further by saying something like, "I'll remember that," or "You have no idea what that does to me." And just like that, the exchange becomes a loop of mutual seduction. You're no longer just sending a message. You're writing a shared chapter of fantasy together. So when you send, "Tell me your favorite part of my body. I want to know what drives you wild," you're not just being naughty. You're being bold, embodied, emotionally attuned, and unforgettable. So here's what I want you to take from this. Turning a man on isn't about being the loudest, the boldest, or even the most revealing. It's about being strategically mysterious. It's about creating emotional anticipation, the kind that lingers long after the message is sent. Each of these 5 texts isn't just about making him think of you, they're about making him feel you, viscerally, mentally, emotionally. Because when you stir his imagination, when you become the unanswered question in his head, you create a craving that goes beyond just physical attraction. You make him want to understand you, to unlock you, to earn the next piece of your mind, your body, your world. You are not here to beg for attention. You are not here to compete with every other woman in his inbox. You are here to stand out by being the woman who knows how to seduce without selling herself. The woman who doesn't need to be explicit to be unforgettable. The woman who owns her effect and wields it with grace, playfulness, and power. So here's your challenge. Pick just one of these texts. Send it when the moment feels right, when you feel connected, when you're not trying to prove anything, but simply want to spark something. Watch how he responds. Watch how he leans in. And more importantly, watch how you feel. Because this isn't about performing for someone else. It's about tapping into the part of you that already knows how magnetic you are. You don't need to chase attention. You just need to awaken the part of yourself that realizes you are the fantasy. You've got the words. Now go light a fire. And if you want more tools like these, real, honest, high-value ways to spark emotional and physical chemistry, make sure you stay connected. There's so much more where this came from. Now go turn him on without giving everything away. Because your power is never in what you say. It's in how you leave him wanting.